And there we are. We are here. Episode 3 of Gigs and Ghosts with me, your host, Mikey Shiraz. Be it on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Music, wherever you listen to this. Good evening, welcome, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the day. But yes, this is episode 3 with the guest who should have been on episode 1. Which we did record, but something happened and then it didn't work. So we've done a few episodes, we've got through it. I've forgotten everything you've ever said.
Yeah, me too.
So that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
So this week's guest, please welcome Carol Hodge.
Hello. Greetings.
How the fuck are you, Carol?
I'm alright. She's glad to be back.
Yeah, welcome back to the studio. How's your week been?
It's been eventful. Yeah, it's been really good. Been busy, been to Manchester for a bit of it, been writing, recording, my brand new album just arrived, the vinyl's arrived, so I've been sorting out the orders for that, released a single yesterday.
You did,
so,
yeah, I wanted to talk about your new single.
Yeah, it's been busy.
How's the reaction been for the new single?
Well, the few people who have been in touch with me to say anything about it have said they liked it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's better than no people.
Yeah, it's that weird thing now, isn't it? I feel like I'm a bit too old to be releasing singles, because that's what all the kids do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just a run-up to the album. The aim
Gain
is to
traction. Get the eyes on the prize.
Gain traction, I like that, yeah.
And it means you get to show off that awesome album art.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the album art yet, I insist that you have to go and look at it, because it's the most amazing picture.
Thank you.
It's just amazing.
Well, John Middleham, the photographer.
John Middleham.
He's amazing. I saw he did some work with The Membranes and Evil Blizzard.
Yeah.
And he basically makes people look like they are Renaissance paintings. So I was like, I definitely need to get in touch with this guy.
That is good. Yeah.
So yeah, finally got him. And he did all the album.
You see, I've seen was it the Wild Hearts who did like a kind of Renaissance sort of album?
Yeah. So that was an actual artist called Eliran Cantor.
Is that a real painting?
Yeah, I've
Holy
seen it.
shit.
I've seen it in the flesh. It's amazing.
Wow.
So I went to his exhibition opening. He's got an exhibition on Merseyside. I can't remember the place, but it's basically a record shop.
Yeah.
And he's done loads of like really sort of like death metal album covers.
Yeah.
Loads of really famous bands, and he had like all the paintings exhibited, so I bought like a print of like one of my favourite ones, and like he's amazing. I can't remember what band it is, but it's like a really cool image, and he signed it, and he was there, and I met him and got to
That's an incredible artist, because I up until this very minute I thought that was real.
You thought it was a painting?
I thought it was a photo.
photo. Yeah, it's painting.
Photoshopped.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
talent, a true talent.
Absolutely, yeah.
But shit, we're just talking like nothing.
Yeah.
So you are Carol Hodge.
Well, last time I checked,
yes,
correct.
And I've done my research. You've been doing music for 25 years.
I have.
Yes.
Which makes me very old. Now I'm 40, and I joined my first band and started gigging when I was 15. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I was talking to Carl Smith on episode 1 of Piper last week, and all yous started like in your teens.
Yeah.
Like I was 20.
So you're a late developer.
Yeah, I was in a boy band at school though.
Well, we have to talk about that then, don't we?
It's called Zero Defects, and we did it to pull chicks. Did not work. We had like
It didn't work.
We had key changes, but we played a battle of the bands, and it was like all the other bands were like rock bands and metal bands, and between we'd come on it and like have a backing track.
How many key changes did you do? Maybe that's where you went wrong.
Just the one.
Well,
but we were on a stool, and then we stood up.
Oh, at the key change, you
we all stood up and
Brilliant.
walked forward, but after each band we'd go and do a different song, and each was like a bit different. One was like more dancey.
Yeah.
And the other two guys in the band could do backflips and had nipple piercings.
Wow.
So they'd do that, and I'd be like, "Tell me, baby, is it me?"
So you just kind of jived in the middle while they did the cool things.
I was just singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was this girl from my school I really fancied, Emma Cheney. And she was in the crowd, and she loved boy bands.
Yeah.
And like her and all her mates were screaming, and in my head I was like,
This
is it.
It's for me.
This is it.
And who was your inspiration?
EYC was my favourite.
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
They were a boy band in the 90s.
EYC?
Yeah.
This is like pre-Boyzone. Was this like Boys to Men era?
No, it was about the same time as Boyzone and A1 and shit. They didn't get to the heights.
EYC.
Of
Never
all
heard
those.
They'll have to research
Oh,
them.
dude, they've got some bangers. Yeah, them and E17 because we did Stay Another Day.
Of course.
Yeah.
Big coats.
Waistcoats.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Even better.
Grandad shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
It was yeah.
Sure it well.
So that's what I did when I was 18.
So I was definitely cooler than that.
Yeah, much cooler. So
I was pretending to be Gwen Stefani when I was 18, so yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But I saw a picture from 2003 that you put up the other day.
Yeah. That was slightly later. That was probably my Susie Sue, Brody Dahl era.
Yeah.
And that was Sadie Hawkins Dance, the band. And it was so weird, I got sent those photos by a promoter. And I had no recollection of ever having my hair like that.
Oh, really? It looked
and
good.
I was just like, wow, I don't remember having gelled short hair at any point in my life, but apparently I did in 2004.
What sort of band was that?
We started off as kind of like an emo-y band. Basically, the guitarist was an amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
And I just got sent this CD with like about 10 songs on without any vocals. And it was all... we kind of like a bit like At the Drive-In.
Oh, cool.
I guess a bit like Bullet for My Valentine.
Also heavy as shit, pretty heavy.
Slightly heavier, but riffy. It was all about the guitars and harmonies and stuff. And I just wrote vocals on the top.
I'm very sorry. I thought you were going to be like an indie band.
No. And then we became heavier.
Yeah.
And we were more who we influenced by then. I guess even, sort of like proper metal, like Metallica-y. And then a bit Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, cool.
And then we basically broke up, and then me and the two guitarists formed another band, and we definitely wanted to be Nine Inch Nails then. So, yeah.
So have you always been into the heavier sort of side of music?
I mean, I grew up on a diet of like second wave pop punk, so I was into all like the Fat Wreck bands.
You mean the best music in the world?
The best music in the world ever, which has not been improved on since then.
I went to see Black Flag last night.
Oh, I saw them last week in Belfast. Yeah.
How good? Did you enjoy?
I did.
I mean, I enjoyed the ones I knew.
Yeah.
But there was quite a bit of noodling.
I didn't like the 15-minute Louie at the end.
But they always used to do that.
Yeah, but they had Henry Rollins doing his thing over the top.
But now they've got Mike Vailey, who really wants to be Henry Rollins.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I thought they were a very good band. The drummer was amazing.
Yeah, good hair too.
Good hair, lots of smiles, which I think is always important in a drummer. But for me, I know Henry Rollins isn't the only vocalist, and he wasn't the original vocalist.
No, there's like Keith and stuff on there.
But for me, Black Flag is kind of about Henry Rollins.
100%.
So, yeah.
I mean, I got free tickets.
Me too. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't have paid.
Yeah.
It was
That's exactly what I said.
32 quid.
Yeah.
32 quid. It was like $7.50 a beer. I was like, this is not punk rock prices.
Where was that?
The Ritz in Manchester.
Oh right, $7.50.
Yeah, fucking crazy. And then, but after they finished, and like, we were just talking to my brother, because I took my brother because he's one of the people who got me into punk rock.
Yeah.
And like down that avenue, and then Greg Ginn just walked out. And he's just hanging out, like, everyone's having a photo taken.
Yeah.
And I don't like having my photo taken with people.
Yeah.
So I just went over and was like, don't want my photo taken, I just want to say, nice one, and thank you for everything. And he was like, oh, thanks very much. Then he ran after me and my brother and gave us both a massive hug.
Oh.
And I was just like, I teared up a little bit.
Oh, he seems like a lovely man.
Yeah. I mean...
And he's a great guitarist, very much in his own world on stage.
Really is. I mean, some of those, he went off...
off on a tangent.
Yeah. I want 1.5 minute punk rock songs.
Yeah.
But who's your favourite band from that era, from that Fat Wreck era?
Oh, well, for me, it was all about Green Day. They were my favourites. So 1994, which is the year
Dookie
of punk.
Yeah.
So I got into them then. Basically, we got Sky TV. And my brother's a little bit older than me, 4 years older, so he had MTV on all the time.
MTV Europe.
And that was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. So there was like Green Day,
Offspring.
They were like
we had the
big
exact
ones.
same avenue into punk rock.
Yeah, and then obviously it was like Nirvana, Hole, and then bands like like Radiohead. I really got into Therapy, Soundgarden. Beastie Boys, Sabotage was always on as well.
I had this exact same conversation last night with my brother about 94 on MTV Europe, and it was just a glorious time for music and fucking great videos. Like Today by Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes.
Was that era and stuff.
And there was all like the sort of
Blind Melon and
Hobo Humping Slowbo Babe.
Tune.
Beck Loser, like all those songs that when I hear them now, I'm back on the sofa trying to be cool in front of my big brother, like I'm watching MTV. It's like
no, that was it for me, and like I really got, because before that I'd just listened to Iron Maiden, and that was it. And then,
Strictly Maiden diet.
Strictly Maiden, yeah. I went from Michael Jackson to Maiden,
right,
and then this whole world opened up through MTV Europe.
Yeah.
Just incredible times.
But I find it really interesting now because, like that for me, it was so seminal in shaping my sort of personality as a teenager as well. Because that music was, oh gosh, it makes sense to me now. Like I feel like I understand this and I can be a part of this and it resonates with me. Whereas everything else that was going on musically and just generally at school and everything, I always felt like an outsider. So it was so important to have but just having MTV. Because now everything, it's overwhelming because there's no curation. It's just like you can go on Spotify, there's 30,000 songs a day go up onto Spotify.
That's insane.
And it's like, how do you find what you like? So I feel grateful to have grown up in that era where there was kind of a funnel that pushed you into a certain direction. Because now it's just a bit like, where would you start?
But it's like, as well, you felt like all the presenters were your friends. And there's that Italian guy with long hair. It was like, hey guys, welcome to Diet MTV. And you're like, yeah. But yeah, it changed who I was because I used to base my look off. This is really sad. I'm telling you all the sad stories today, boy bands. Wrestlers.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Right, I'd like...
Undertaker.
No. I did at one point start wearing like brown jeans,
right?
Tucked into biker boots.
Oh, okay.
And like and just like tousle on my hair. Mm-hmm.
I can see. Did you see? That's one of the things I don't like about male wrestlers is the wet look, gel wavy hair.
I used to iron my hair to make it straight.
Oh, okay.
It was like not till I got older.
So it wasn't like stringy and over your face.
No. But I was a massive loser. But then once I found punk rock, and then I found fat pants and just wore baggy pants all the time, and cut my hair off, had skunk stripes in all the time.
Oh, nice.
Just changed my hair colour. It was a good time. Hell of a time.
I love it. Yeah, looking back now, and no doubt we're another big band.
Oh, of course.
So when I first started singing in a band, we covered like No Doubt and basically everything that was in the charts because there was lots of good music out because it was like the Britpop era as well. So we did quite a few, like Britpop songs.
Were you Oasis or Blur?
At the time I was Oasis.
I was Blur.
But now I would be Blur. Yeah.
Now I'd be Oasis.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because it was Blur back then because Song 2.
Oh yeah.
What a banger.
Do you know why it's called Song 2?
Because it's 2 minutes long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realise that. I was like, that's one of those tidbits that everybody knows, but I often ask people and they're like, oh my gosh, my mind's been blown. Like,
people are idiots.
Yeah.
So you formed in this perfect time, and when did you decide music is going to be my life? Because music is your life. You are a full-time professional musician.
I am now. It's only taken me 25 years.
But it's a good journey.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I wouldn't have been ready for it at any other point. I feel like I've, this is when I'm supposed to be trying to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I had a tape that my dad had this big tape collection that he'd basically recorded vinyl onto one side of the tape and then recorded another vinyl album onto the other side of the tape. So there was this one tape and it was A Night at the Opera on one side and Sheer Heart Attack on the other, both Queen albums. And I remember being about 8 years old and getting hold of this tape, and I had my little tape player in my room and I'd play it. And there was just something about that experience, particularly A Night at the Opera, that just... there was just something in them. It was like, I want to do this. There's just something about this that was really magical and really resonated with me. And and then I started like learning how to play keyboard quite soon after that. And that it's just something that I've always loved doing. And people always ask me about like, oh, you know, you've only got 7 fingers, but you play a piano, like, you know, you've all like triumphed over adversity and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just like, do you know what? I've never really thought about it because I've just always wanted to do it, and that's why I've done it.
Just to stop you there as well, because people who listen might not have heard you before.
Yeah.
And when you said 7 fingers, they might think that you mean you've got 7 fingers on one hand.
No.
And then they'll think that's cheating.
I've just.
There you go. That's why she's so good at piano.
I'm not cheating, yeah. God, that would be amazing. Well, maybe not. Well, I don't know, yeah. There's what's that film, Gattaca? And there's a guy who's got 6 fingers on each hand and he's a piano
I've not
player.
seen it. It's a sci-fi film, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's Stephen Dorff and Uma Thurman, yeah.
Truth be known, sci-fi kind of pisses me off.
Yeah. I remember it being quite good when I watched it.
Yeah, my brother's a massive Star Trek fan, you see.
Right.
He's always made me watch that bollocks.
A Trekkie.
Yeah, so I'm really bullheaded now when it comes to like certain films and certain bands. I just refuse to watch.
Just a no, straight no.
Like Avatar.
Yeah.
My brother keeps saying, go watch Avatar. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And Avatar 2's out. He's like, watch Avatar 2. I was like, going, and people are like, yeah, it looks amazing. I was like, but is it amazing? It looks to me like a cartoon from the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it at the cinema, the Avatar. I've not seen the second one.
Did it change your life?
No.
Like, people say it's one of the greatest films ever. And I say the same thing to everybody who says this. Name one line from the film. One line. Just give me one line of dialogue. And they never can.
Well,
but it looks good.
A good litmus test. Yeah, no, it's very much it's a spectacle.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And so I think that had I not seen it at the cinema, it probably wouldn't have had the same impact. It's all about how it looks visually. And how weirdly attractive Sigourney Weaver is as a 7-foot blue creature.
Well, she's normally 7 foot anyway, and she is beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
One of my crushes as a kid was Ghostbusters.
God.
Jesus.
I mean, just Ghostbusters in general. I'm a massive Bill Murray fan, so it's just like, yeah.
I'm massive Ghostbusters fan. Hey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a great segue!
But no, that's where we were. So yeah, you started playing your instrument, and then started doing bands.
Yep.
And got all through your 20s. I take it were you like flipping between bands or?
Well, in my 20s, it was it was just about trying to get somewhere, trying to make it, whatever that meant, with sort of one band at a time. Wanted evolve and get to a point where somebody in the band couldn't do it anymore, and then things just sort of peter out. And then I'm like, right, I'm starting a new one, because that's just all what I've always done. I've always written songs. And so I've always had enough people around me wanted to, cling on to what I'm doing to sort of make bands and stuff. And then it wasn't until I was 29 and I got the gig with Steve Ignorant that I sort of started doing more things with other people, like guesting in other bands and playing with other people instead of just doing my own music. So
like Steve Ignorant from Crass, of course.
Yes.
And what year did you join him?
2011. So 12 years ago. So I got that gig.
And still going strong to this day. More popular than ever, I reckon.
Yeah. We toured the Crass stuff in 2011, and then we were supposed to do it again with like a totally different lineup in 2020, but obviously got pushed back to the end of 2021. We started doing the songs again, and I'd have to say it feels more pertinent than ever to be singing those lyrics, unfortunately. You know, politics from the 70s and early 80s, everything's come full circle.
But much worse than ever before.
Yeah. People tell me. I don't remember much about, the early 80s.
I was talking to my big brother about this as well last night on the train, because we were both got into our ranting thing. And I don't think this country has ever had a more corrupt government than right now. At least they used to try and hide it.
I was going to say more overtly corrupt.
Yeah,
I think that's the key.
Now they just do it in plain sight and just say, they just don't give a shit.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
Nothing. Because you are poor. Because we've taken everything away from you. But I can see why it is. More people are like coming back round to that sort of thing, and the rise of punk rock again.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about a Tory government. Some great fucking songs are written in those times. Yeah. Because people are angry as shit.
I heard an album yesterday. what's it? I think it's Meryl Streak. He's called.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was so like I had like goosebumps all the way through it, and it really reminded me of Crass, like early Crass. He's like so angry, and the energy of that just comes across, and you can't help but feel like a connection to it. So that's exactly what you mean. It's like, you know, the worst and darkest of times inspire the best art. So,
yeah, I mean, anger's a great thing to throw into music.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I say that, but I just write songs about dogs and stuff. You know? I mean, I'll just rant at my brother and then go, I'm going to sing a song about a boy dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you do the Steve Ignorant stuff and you do the Crass. What else are you in at the moment?
I play with Ryan Hamilton from Texas in America.
Texas, yes.
So I've been playing with him for about 6 years now.
How did that come about?
I got recommended by a couple of people because I'd played with Ginger from the Wild Hearts. And Ryan needed a keyboard player, so I got recommended, and we got on really well. The rest is history.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. So we do an acoustic thing, and he also has a band that I play in. And I did some stuff with Ginger and John Poole last year.
Ginger from the Wild Hearts, John Poole from Cardiacs.
And the Wild Hearts, and Dr. Hook. And then, later on this year, I'm doing some stuff supporting Ginger with Ben Marsden.
I've just seen this. Ginger does the Wild Hearts.
Yes.
So is that you and Ben Marsden playing together?
Yeah, so
cool.
at the moment, we've still not clarified everything, but at the moment it's going to be Ginger on his own, playing Wild Hearts songs, and me and Ben kind of doing like a Chaz and Dave type thing.
Rabbit. But Yorkshire.
Less facial hair and Cockney accents.
Ben's got facial hair though, right?
Well,
sometimes.
he sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. I mean, I've been trying for years to grow a beard, but it's just not happening.
Me too. Honestly, I'm in my 40s now.
I am years old.
And it's taken me forever. I still can't grow a proper one. It feels like...
Does it feel downy?
Yeah.
Can I stroke it?
Yeah.
Does it feel like a... Oh, it feels like a rabbit's rump.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. But like... it's like... I grew a tash years ago and I was like, oh my God, first time ever. So I used to dye it.
Oh.
Because...
Like what, funny colours?
No, just because it came out ginger.
This is a really common thing. Guys with dark hair having bright ginger facial hair.
Yeah. So I darkened it so it was like the same colour as my hair.
Right.
And I used to like curl it up.
Ooh.
Thought it looked really fucking cool. I was best man at a friend's wedding.
And you were upstaging him and got in trouble?
No, he's a auntie or something. Just said, you look like the guy from No Compare.
No
Compare.
The advert, right? Yeah. So you shaved it off after that, I assume.
I went into the bedroom, the hotel room, and shaved it off. And it just didn't grow back. It didn't grow back for like years and years and years. So I'm scared now.
Right.
So this will be me forever.
Yeah.
It's like, same with my hair, I grew it long. And I'm like, well, if I shave it off...
You might not grow back.
Exactly. So I'm stuck with this look forever. This is me now. I'm destroyed. But, so... back on track.
Yes.
So you play with all these other people, but you've also got your solo stuff.
Yes.
And not just playing solo, you've got full band as well.
A band, yeah. So Piper Dawes, Matt Crusher, Tom Swales.
And what's his band called?
The Carol Hodge Band.
So ego on the go there, yeah.
Well, I tasked the rest of the band as part of their initiation of like, you need to come up with a band name.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be like Carol Hodge and something like, like the wonky chromosomes. I quite liked Carol Hodge and the Hegs. But the Hegs.
Oh, right.
Hodge Hegs. Hegs. But they were like, no, let's just call it the Carol Hodge Band. Or just Carol Hodge. And I was just like, okay.
Fine.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Thanks for your creative input.
I mean, I'd love Mr. Shiraz to be called Mike and the Shirazettes, but they will not go for it.
No. But you keep mentioning it,
Yeah,
After all these years, you're still pushing the issue.
Oh, completely.
Yeah,
it's been years and years, and I will do it until they're all dead.
Yeah. By your hand or by nature, yeah.
Nature. I mean, we'll be going a long time. I don't think we're going to be stopping anytime soon. But how are you finding going out with a full band doing your songs?
Yeah, it's great. Well, I mean, I'm just about to release my 4th album, and each of the albums, they're kind of a combination of quite stripped back, pretty much voice and piano songs, and then other sort of full band arrangements. So it's really cool having the option to, because so when I go and play on my own, I was playing last night, I was playing with Tommy and Phil from Space. And they were doing Space songs.
Yeah.
So it was just me on my own, played piano and sang. And then, you know, obviously other opportunities, it's like, well, I can play a slightly more rocking set with the band, or we did a tour in November that was with Sarah Borges, who's like an Americana, sort of bluesy rock artist. So we did more of that sort of edge of stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's really nice having the variety. I love the variety I've got at the moment. I love playing on my own. I love playing with my band.
I was going to say, do you have a favourite? Do you prefer to do it by yourself or as a band? Or is it equal?
Well, in terms, if I play on my own, I know I'll get a wage. But
I was going to say, you get paid.
If I play with my band, I have to pay my musicians. So it's like, but yeah, I like the combination. It's great.
And so, Carol Hodge band. Ryan Hamilton, and is it the Harlequins?
It's just... Ryan Hamilton... Well, it's just gone out as Ryan Hamilton now, but it was Ryan Hamilton and the Harlequin Ghosts,
Steve Ignorant, Slice of Life.
Slice of Life, and the Crass Stuff, so that's two separate things,
So that's that. Ginger and John Poole.
Yeah.
Any more?
Well, there's me solo as well. Yeah. So it's basically like 7, and sometimes I do acoustic stuff with Ryan, so like 7 or 8 different iterations. Yeah.
Which is your favourite?
It's like asking me to choose between my songs.
I know.
I can't do it.
Okay, which is your least favourite?
Least favourite.
I want the ghosts.
No, do you know what? I feel really privileged that everybody that I work with, I'm at the point in my life now, I'm in my 50s, where I don't want to mess around with no scrubs. I'll only work. There's a little sizzle and a click there. I only will work with people that I like, because I just cannot be bothered with drama and nonsense. And I'll only be like, you know, I like spending time. We've been there.
That was the 20s before.
Yeah. I'm sober now as well, so I don't.
Yeah, this is alcohol free.
Yeah, alcohol free beer. And yeah, I don't. That's a big factor in me choosing what I do professionally.
Like I never got to encounter drunk Carol.
Well, lucky you. Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, the 20s and stuff, I mean, that's the time for the ego and to let drama happen and stuff.
Yeah.
I had a ridiculous ego in my 20s.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Absolutely. Looking back now, though, I realise that so much of my attention-seeking, overachieving, people-pleasing behaviour was due to low self-esteem.
Yeah. Well, you're a singer, you're a musician. You're a performer.
Yeah.
We've all got low self-esteem.
Yeah.
This is why we do bullshit like this.
What was it you said last time? This is your midlife crisis podcast.
Yes, yes it is, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to drink an IPA.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear a flat cap.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got an awful feeling that if I wore a flat cap, I'd look like Brian Johnson or something. And I just, no. So this is the way. This is the way,
Podcast or die.
Podcasts, Podcasts and ghosts. That's all I need. Yeah. So what's coming up? You've got a new album out. When?
The 10th of March is the official release date, just because it's the day before my birthday.
And it's called?
Vertiginous Drops.
Vertiginous Drops?
Vertiginous as in you're up so high that if you look down, it induces vertigo. So,
ooh, good. I learned something today. Say that word again.
Vertiginous. So from vertigo,
vertiginous. Excellent. Yeah. I like learning things. I'll put that in a sentence
there you
later.
Go. Not in any way pretentious. Vertiginous Drops, yeah.
So that's out March 10th on your own label.
Yes, Midnight Stamp Records, yeah.
DIY till you die.
Absolutely,
Unless a major offers you a fuck ton.
Well, it's just a bank loan, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's true.
But I mean, that is something that maybe for album number 5, I will take my time and actually try and maybe get someone else to do all the fucking work that I have to do.
Yeah.
Because it's starting to take its toll. It's just like, it's great because I love knowing people's names. I love, processing all the album orders and stuff myself, because you get to know the people who are supporting you, and that's really valuable.
And the people in the post office, you get to know them.
Yeah, they love me.
Oh,
yeah.
When you go with a staff,
every time I go in, they give me that flyer about setting up a business account. It's like, do you want this? I was like, yeah, but I just never get around to doing it. But yeah, it is somebody, I read somewhere the other day that being an independent artist now is like 10% actually doing music and 90% doing everything else. And I was like, yeah, that's completely accurate, yes.
Yeah. Like, do you book all your own gigs as well?
Yeah, I am my everything. So I'm my own booking agent, manager, promoter. I do when I play with my band, I do all like the tour management stuff and
same on all this.
But yeah, it's good and I love it. But I am starting to get to the point where it's like it would be nice to get some help.
Because people don't realise how much of your life it does consume.
Yeah, and it's all the social media stuff as well, because a lot of that is like replying to people a lot of the time and connecting with people, and I love doing that, but it does take a lot of time. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
stupid. So somebody out there, if you want to do this for Carol for free,
come and be my manager. Yes,
you do not get a cut of anything.
Well, I mean, you can have a percentage of whatever you get me. That's how it works, isn't it, with management? Yeah,
well, we got offered a management deal once, and the guy wanted us to pay him 150 quid a month, right before anything.
Right.
And that was every month. But I'll get you enough gigs so you get more than that a month. Going, this sounds like some bullshit.
Yeah.
You look like a troll.
Well, that's your... as soon as you said troll, I thought of Danny DeVito, because I was listening to the Sunny podcast yesterday.
I was just talking about the Sunny podcast earlier with Callum. He's never listened to it.
Oh, it's great.
It is fantastic. Yeah. I like to listen to that when I've just got nothing else to do. Very funny people.
Yeah.
But that is the music part of the podcast done. So you know what it means next. Gigs and go! Like I said before, people, we did do this a few weeks ago, so I kind of know some of the stories that you've got to tell.
But you're a good actor, so you can act.
Yeah, but it's made me more excited now, because Piper told me one of the scariest ghost stories.
I've not listened to the episode yet.
Oh,
I'll listen, you don't need to tell me now.
Oh, I won't, but goddamn, that ghost story shit me up. And Carl told me some good ones. But as always, Carol, we start with the question. Do you believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts? I believe that people do see, hear, feel, experience things that could be classed as supernatural. I have various different opinions on what those things might actually be. Mm-hmm. I believe that there is a element of existence that is possibly connected to the quantum multiverse.
Ooh.
That we don't fully understand yet. And I think that in the future, at some point, we will be able to explain a lot of what people experience in a sort of scientific way.
Yeah.
So I did an interview with a guy called Richard Felix, who used to be on Most Haunted. He owns Derby Jail, and he's a very interesting guy, incredibly enthusiastic about ghosts and the supernatural. But he comes from quite a practical, open-minded point of view. He's not an absolute believer. He wants to know what these things are, how they appear and all this. And he told me about a really interesting theory. So I'd heard of it before. It's called the stone tape theory.
This is what I wanted you to talk about. Yes.
And the concept is, so one of the things that gets thrown about as a theory about what ghosts are is the idea that buildings and building materials somehow retain a memory of what's happened in the past.
Yeah.
So that theory is logical and potentially explains things like, I mean, in York, there's a very famous story of people seeing Roman centurions walking through a building, but they can only see them from the knees up. And then obviously, historically, the ground would have been lower.
Yeah.
And things like ghosts walking through walls, because there didn't used to be a wall there. It's a new, instalment.
I've never thought of that point.
Yeah.
I just always think ghosts walk through walls because the ghosts.
Yeah.
But I've always thought about the point there with the cut off and stuff.
Yeah.
But wow, that's good.
Yeah, same idea. Or there might have been a completely different building there in the past, but maybe the foundations have returned, some sort of memory or whatever. So he was talking, Richard Felix, about the Battle of, was it Gettysburg in America?
I've seen some videos from Gettysburg.
So yeah, there's videos of that, and apparently that's one of the most haunted battle sites in the world. And he was telling me that underneath that entire area, I think he said it was it's sandstone, and he said that there's a correlation between places in the world where there is a high incidence of ghost sightings and a particular stone. I think it was sandstone, but it's something to do with silica content. So he thinks it's that substance that is the thing that potentially retains this memory. And he described it as like magnetic tape. We used to have cassette tapes.
Yeah.
It's retaining, in that case, sound. So it's the idea that this mineral can do what a cassette tape does and keep a recording of what's happened around it in the same way that, the magnetic nature of the tape sucks in the sound around it and keeps it. That's what the stone's doing. And I love that theory. I don't know how plausible it is.
It sounds like that is completely correct.
There's logic to it.
There is a lot of logic to it, But with that, you see, I totally now, since you told me about this before, 100% believe that as fact.
Yeah, you think it's accurate,
It's very easy for me to see anything as fact. So,
right, right.
That's now stored in my head as like, that is never a truer thing. That does happen. But then you look at things like poltergeists and shit like that.
So that again...
That's not replaying.
No. So, I mean, maybe, obviously there's different categories of ghosts or experiences, isn't there? So the idea of poltergeists, I believe, is more to do with like EPK and people, and like ESP. So it's to do with people's energy and what they are kicking out into the world. Because with poltergeists, the commonality is often a teenage girl that the activity centres around. So I've been a teenage girl and I remember how it felt, and the amount of, especially if you're having quite a traumatic time, which is often a theme with a poltergeist activity, you're just full of hormonal energy and just ready to burst out, and it does when you're a teenager. Your energy just bursts out, doesn't it, all over the place. You're unable to contain it. So I do believe that some people have such a high, percentage of this energy or whatever. It's so strong that I think it's that causes the crazy activity and the things moving and... Yeah,
I like that because there's one of my brothers, Chris, he's always been quite an emotional fella. I'll say that.
Yeah.
He was the one who always got into trouble, caused shit.
Right.
But he's always been really susceptible to seeing things in different places. Like my mum used to tell me when we were growing up, I was probably about 2, but Chris is about 4 years older than me, something. And she'd hear him talking to someone upstairs, and he'd always talk about this man with dogs.
Yeah.
Sometimes the man would have nice dogs, sometimes the man would be angry, and the dogs would be angry and barking at him. But he'd always tell me all these incredible things that have happened and things there. There's one, he had a pub in Halifax called the Plummet Line, and one night he was sat with a bunch of the staff upstairs, and they all swear that this happened. That a picture came off the wall, came forward, and then just hit him in the head.
Oh, wow.
I was like, well, yeah, he's probably wanting you to shut up. But I didn't think it could be because of his outbursts.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced anything kind of poltergeisty?
Well, not really. I mean, I've got very limited experience. I would love to see something that I couldn't explain. My first thought would be, oh God, what's wrong with my brain? that's where I would always go, like, be like, why am I hallucinating? You know, that would be my logical brain would kick in.
And second.
Second would probably be the piss filling my pants.
Yeah.
I had a couple of things. So when I was about sort of like 9 or 10, I was really into ghosts and all things unexplained and supernatural. Ghosts, UFOs, you know, extrasensory perception, whatever. I was well into it. My dad had these books called The Unexplained, which were, and it was 12 volumes, and it was like, they were all from the 70s, and it was like, there was a, you know, like a monthly magazine, and you put the magazines into these sort of binders.
I know the ones, yeah.
So I would just pour through those when I was a kid, and like, oh gosh, they just covered everything, you know, like Bigfoot, like everything.
Yeah, I used to go to the library and get those books out all the time, and just be like...
Loved it. So I think my memory might be that I just so wanted something to happen that I was just sort of like exaggerating things in my head or misremembering things. But I used to think my wardrobe doors moved. I had like sort of floor to ceiling sliding doors in my bedroom, and I used to think they moved, you know, of their own accord. One time I was playing on my Sega Master System with my friend in my bedroom, and a knob off my chest of drawers like flew across the room. Now, it could have been that knob was wobbly anyway and it just fell off, and we exaggerated it as like, oh my god, it's a ghost, and like ran out.
Yeah.
And then there was one instance with a tape player in my room. I had one of those like silver and black sort of top loader tape players. And I remember getting a little voice in my head saying, look at the tape player, and I looked and the button pressed down of its own accord. Weird. So
there's no explanation for that other than ghosts.
Yeah, but I mean, I could have misremembered all that. It might have been the end of the tape and it just went off or whatever. But
it'd flip up, not down.
Possibly. So the things that I've experienced that I can't explain. One of them is a feeling, a gut feeling, and a heaviness that I sometimes get in places, and I don't know why, and then sometimes afterwards I will find that it's because of there's been activity there or whatever.
Did you have something like that happen? Was it Bannerman's?
Bannerman's in Edinburgh, yeah. I stayed over there and did some ghost hunting, and so there's this room in Bannerman's, and whenever I've been in there, because there's like three, basically to explain to anyone who doesn't know, Bannerman's is an awesome venue in Edinburgh. And there is a flat above the venue where you can stay if you're in a band, which is useful if you're a touring band. It's somewhere for you to stay. It's a cool place. So there's 3 bedrooms in there. We let loads of beds in. And there's this one room at the back that I've never stayed in, because whenever we've gone there, I've been like, no, don't want to be in here. Because you go in and it's like, oh, just get this really heavy feeling there. Now that could be because there's like faulty electrical wiring in there, or I don't know why, but I've just always felt uncomfortable in that room. Yeah. And so somebody who plays in an American band stayed there, and she had a wander around, and she said to Christian, my friend who puts the gigs on there, did you know this place is haunted? And he'd not said anything to her about this. And he was like, oh, well, you know, I've heard stories. People often, you know, tell me things. And she went into that room where I said I didn't like the feeling of it. And she said, this is where they're all based. And she said, all? Yeah. She said, they're really unhappy with you. Have you decorated recently? And he was like, yeah, like last month we painted everywhere and put new carpets down. And she was saying, like, yeah, they don't like it because they don't like the smell, because they can't leave this room because of the smell, and they're really angry with you. And I was just like, oh my god. But that it was really interesting that was the room.
Yeah.
So we went ghost hunting, and Christine had this sort of camera app that you can, it's like a night vision thing, so you can film it. And we went into that room, and there was loads of like orbs flying around, which I thought initially it was like just dust when you go into a room. But we were in there for a while, and any dust would have settled down, and we went back in and out quite a few times, and it was almost like they were moving of their own volition. It wasn't just like dust flying around. It was like they were changing speed and direction, and so that was quite weird. And it's also got this function on the app where, like a Kinect sort of idea, it will try and create stickmen out of what it can see. Yeah. So if I was holding it at you, it would look like a human sat down. And then if I sort of panned around and came back to you, it would still look like a human sat down. So when you pan around and it tries, it might try and make a shape out of the shelves or try and make a human shape. But when you pan around and something's not there, and then you come back and it is there, that was really freaking me out. I was like, we need to go. I've not been in here anymore.
What was it doing? Was it just stood?
Yeah, it was just kind of like a figure. Yeah. Ugh. So that kind of freaked me out. And then later on that night, I was falling asleep and I felt something cold on my leg, like a hand pressing down on my leg. And so I was like, oh, and I just sort of rolled over and I just thought maybe it's my leg going dead or whatever. And then it stopped. And then when I moved back that way again, I felt the same thing but on my other leg, so in the same place in the room.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. Which kind of leads me on to the other weird thing that I've experienced, which is sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And that, in my experience, is always the same. And it really freaked me out. I watched a documentary about it quite recently.
Another documentary?
Oh, it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
And
terrifying.
People described exactly what I'd experienced, which kind of freaked me out because I just thought... The theory of it is, it's like you have hypnopompic and hypnagogic states where you are just about to wake up, but your body isn't as awake as your brain, or you're just drifting off to sleep, and it's the other way around. So I've always experienced it when I've woken up, gone to the loo, gone back to bed.
Yeah.
Then is when it usually happens. It's not happened for a while. And for me, it was always the same...
Touch wood.
For me, it was always the same thing. It was, I'd be in bed, and... I would hear footsteps. So the footsteps would come, down the hall, come into the room, and I could feel that there was something stood there next to me. And then this thing would get into bed behind me, and I would feel it.
Oh.
And it would be like a person, like if you're sharing a bed with somebody and you're sort of like half asleep and you just feel an arm over you and you feel like a body behind you. It was like that. But the way sleep paralysis works is you think that's real, but you're still asleep. Yeah. And then I'd wake up, and then I'd be like, oh, right, okay. And then it would happen again, and the thing would come in, and then the next layer of consciousness, that was a dream. I'd wake up, and it would just keep happening until when I actually did wake up in real life, I could still feel the thing there. And apparently this is a really common thing, and I caught a glimpse of it once, and it was just a black shape.
Everybody seems to see pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about it.
That's what freaks me out in the documentary. And I think it was Carl when he was on. He was talking about it.
Yeah.
And the exact same thing.
He's had the same
thing.
Yeah.
Big, tall, black thing.
Yeah. And it's definitely, in my experience, it's a male figure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is it a hat wearing?
I think it did have a hat. Yeah.
A lot of people say as a hat.
Yeah, like a sort of a trilby type thing.
Quite
a big
wide
brim hat. Yeah.
But that's everyone. Like people who have never met anybody with sleep paralysis and think it's just them.
Yeah.
But everybody is experiencing this same hatted knobhead.
So, behatted knobhead. Yeah. So that's why I was so freaked out, because it's, like how they say that when you, often your childhood memories are based on a photograph that you've seen as an adult and filled in all the details, because you don't really remember that day.
Yeah, basically you remember the last time you remembered it.
Yeah. So but that's why I was so freaked out by that documentary, because I've never spoken to anyone else who's experienced it. And the fact that they were experiencing the same thing, I was just like, what is going on with that? Because I just thought it was something going on with my brain, but it's a common thing. So where does that come from? It's weird, isn't it?
It's ghosts. It's demons. Yeah.
Ghosts is real.
But it's like, I've been asking people I want to hear people's ghost stories. I like to send them in to me. So if you do, get in touch if you've got a ghost story, because I'm always up for hearing it. And when you were saying before about Bannerman's in that room, that gave you an awful feeling.
Yeah.
A lady's sent me in a story about something like that, and it's awful. And do you mind if I quickly tell you?
Go for it. Yeah.
So basically, her and her husband, they have one child, and when the child was about a year and a half, they moved into a new house, and the child was still staying in the parents' room and everything like that.
Yeah.
But eventually they wanted the kid to get used to sleeping in their own room. So they set up this room, and the room, it said, gave her that sort of vibe, like something, like just didn't seem
Pit in the
right.
stomach. Like,
Yeah, so we'll stick the kid in that room.
Yeah.
So she set up this room, and every single night at the same time the kid would wake up screaming, and she had to take the kid out and put it back into the bed. And the husband and her were talking about what can we do. We need to get her past this. She needs to start doing it, and it was going on and on every single night at the exact same time, screaming. So she went, I know what to do. I'll set up a camp bed in a room with her, and for the first few, like maybe for a week, I'll sleep in the room there.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine. And they're like, this is a great idea. We'll take it in turns. They did it once, because on that first night that she did that, put the kid into their little day bed, she got into the bed. In the night time, she felt a kid's hand on her, tugging away at her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, it's just obviously my kids got into bed with me, and just once for that, so she's okay. But then she wouldn't stop fidgeting about and pulling on her, crawling on her, putting her arms around her neck and hugging her really tight. Eventually, she just said her daughter's name. Was like, "Can you just stop it?" And then her kid woke up and said, "Mum," or whatever. Her kid was in the other bed across the room, and she was still feeling it on her.
Yeah.
So it wasn't her kid. There was someone else in that bed tugging at her, and it was about the time that the child normally wakes up screaming. So she of course jumped up, took the kid, went in the room, took all the kid's stuff out of that room, sold the house.
Wow.
Yeah, put it straight up for sale.
That's I probably would do exactly the same.
I would not be happy.
Really freaking out, yeah. The only other weird thing that I sometimes experience, so I obviously, as a musician and as a sober musician, I do a lot of driving.
Yeah.
And I'm still often, for example, the other week, I did London and back in a day, got home at 3:30 in the morning or whatever. So sometimes when I'm driving and I'm very tired and it's night, if I'm driving somewhere where there's, say, hedgerows or whatever at the side of the road, a few times I've seen a flicker of a person running across the road.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, just my brain malfunctioning because I'm so tired. But apparently that's a thing as well that other people experience.
Lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, loads of people. I know people seen things or seen people crossing the road or just stood at the side of the road.
Yeah. And it's it's almost like it's not. They're not. It's like a sort of they're sort of see through. There's a sort of shadowy thing. It's not like a fully shaped human, but it's human shaped. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about my friend Chris when he was driving?
No.
Ooh, right.
Okay.
He did not believe in ghosts until this point, and now he believes in ghosts. But he was when he'd got his first car, and he was still living at home, and he was really proud. He'd lived in Nottingham, and he'd drive home and always park it in the drive and stuff.
Yeah.
And so one night he was driving home, and there's this stretch of road which has all these rumours about it and stuff, and ghost stories, but it's very quiet. There's no lights. And he was driving on there, just on his way home after he'd been somewhere, and when he looked in his mirror to look out the back window, there was somebody sat in the back of his car. And he was just so he turned around, carried on going. He was just and he'd always look. And
it was still there?
All the way home. But it was not looking at him in the mirror, just looking kind of past him.
Yeah.
And it's going, it was clear as day, there was a man sat there for the full journey, and he said he got home, stopped looking in the mirror, just drove, got to his house, did not park in the drive, just as near as he could, just took his cars, ran in the house, and his dad next morning was like, why have you parked in the drive? And told him this whole story.
So he knew it wasn't just a man, wasn't a human man.
He said there was something strange.
Yeah.
It looked like a human.
Yeah.
It had all the features, but there was something wasn't right. There was something not there.
Yeah.
And just look, it was that part where
I wouldn't have driven all the way home. I would have stopped the car and told him to get out.
Get out.
I would have just been like,
Ghost,
no.
you know how much petrol is
Yeah. Or I would have tried to take a photo of it or pulled over and tried to film it.
Oh, well, you know...
now.
It was before
Yeah.
camera phones and stuff like that.
But having not been in that situation, I think there probably is a good chance that I would just be rigid with terror.
Yeah, I'd probably drive into a lamppost at full speed.
Yeah, just to get it over with.
Just to get it over, yeah. Oh no, but then I'd end up in the car forever with that.
The mat, maybe that's
God
what
damn
happened.
it.
It's like like the ring tape.
Oh, God damn it.
It's like you keep passing it on.
Didn't you ever once do the do?
Oh, yeah. So I went on a ghost hunting experience. I got my friend it for his birthday. And it was in this old pub near Birmingham. And it was... I just booked it because I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it would be like, you know, people in costumes jumping out on you or whatever. But it turned out to be a very serious, kind of earnest ghost hunting experience.
As it always should be.
Yeah. So there were some real characters, which was part of the fun. There was a woman who was a self-proclaimed medium who I caught kind of faking some like knocking activity and stuff like that, and faking table tipping, and you know, she went up behind my friend and I like, you know, in a dark room, and I saw her do it, like touched my friend and said, "Oh, there's something over here," and I was thinking, yeah, your fucking hand. So that was interesting. But one of the things that happened during that experience, we did everything. We did, you know, we tried to do table tipping. They had all kinds of like gadgets. We did a Ouija board.
Fools.
All kinds of things. Nothing really that couldn't be explained away. There was a basement there that I went in and I felt sick and I had to leave because it just, again, a really, really heavy feeling. It was a horrible feeling. So I was like, there's no way, I don't care. I know we're on a ghost hunting experience, but I do not want to be in this room.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I came out of that and I got given a pair of copper dowsing rods. So for people who don't know what dowsing rods are, they're kind of like an L-shaped piece of metal, and you hold them, and the idea is that you can supposedly communicate with the spirits.
Find water.
Find water, yes, which is people use hazel twigs and like copper dowsing rods to find water still professionally. Water companies still do that. And so I had these pair of dowsing rods, and I was kind of get to grips with them. Obviously, because my hand's a bit different, I was sort of experimenting with how tight to grip them and where's the best place to hold them. So I was sort of getting used to that. And the woman who was running the event was telling us, right, so you can ask it questions. You can say, can you show me yes? Can you show me no? And I was doing that and not much was happening. And I walked across this room and they both pulled like really like pointedly in one direction. I was like, whoa! And she was like, ooh. She was like, oh, you should go towards there. Like that, obviously it's doing something. So I walked over there and they were both spinning, and I was just like, I'm not even thinking about anything. They're just doing it. I'm like just holding them as I was. It was really weird. But that could have been just because there was water over there. I don't know.
I don't think it'd go that wackadoodle.
Yeah, it was weird. And then we sort of played along. Like me and my friend went in this room, and we were like, you know, is there anyone here and stuff? And so we were like, yeah, show us yes, show us no. And then we were just like, let's just go along with it. Let's just ask it questions or ask the room questions, whatever we were doing. And we did have there was at one point where, because I was thinking, I wonder if I think of an answer, my dowsing rods will go that way. Yeah. And they didn't. It was weird. And then at one point, one of them just started spinning on its own. And I was just like, that's really weird. But again, could have been anything. I'm not saying it was a ghost.
It could have been,
yeah.
But it was probably a ghost, wasn't it? But, you know.
Chances are it was a ghost.
After all the evidence we've had today, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost,
yes. Yes. Well, it's been very educational today.
Vertiginous,
yes.
Yeah, you've learned that word.
Yeah, and lots of things about ghosts.
Yeah.
You know, normally, because like the last two, you know, we've told some ghost stories and stuff like that. But
yeah.
This is what I want to get into. What you've been talking about today. This is very cool shit.
Well, I've been obsessed with it for about 30 years, so you know, you pick up a few things along the way.
And carry on for another 30 years.
Yeah.
Any ghost hunts coming up?
No, I don't have any more booked, but I think I would be up for going on another one.
Yeah.
I'd like to go on one of the ghost walks in Edinburgh.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the under the tunnels and
Yes,
stuff.
the vaults one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that.
Quite a few people left like while doing that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Creepy though,
Yeah,
right?
I want to go to that house. We're meant to be booking an all-night stay at that one.
Oh, is this the poltergeist house?
Yes.
Yeah. Whereabouts
the
is
Black
that?
Monk of Pontefract.
Pontefract. I was going to say it's somewhere nearby, isn't it?
Yeah. So we had a look at that. I think it's like 60 quid. As many biscuits, tea, coffee, or juice as you like.
But you have to bring your own hot meal if you want one.
Yes.
Yeah, or your own sandwiches. That's very important.
Oh yeah. But oh no, they give you a breakfast sandwich in the morning.
Oh.
If you survive the night.
Should you survive the night, an egg bap shall await you. Yeah.
Ta-da! Haunted egg bat. So yeah, because I want to do those. I'm gonna do those.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Johnny Sellers have been on about it for years.
Go for it.
Yeah. We went to the one at the Bradford Police Station Ghost Hunt, and I mean it was fun.
Yeah.
But the actual courtroom was pretty scary, and it was just a nice time.
Yeah.
It was all ex-coppers, and they were good to talk to. Like,
Yeah.
one of them
Got some stories.
One of them arrested the Yorkshire Ripper.
Right. And then let him go?
No.
No. Oh, he actually did.
Yeah,
right.
caught him.
Because that happened, didn't it? He got arrested.
he got
like,
let go.
yeah. Wasn't him?
Wasn't me, officer. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I arrested the Yorkshire Ripper. And then just followed it with a very boring man.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else to say? Yeah. Dull man with a hammer. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. But it was fun. And it was cheap. But,
Yeah.
So I want to do a proper scary as fuck one.
Yeah.
You know.
It's that thing of what I realised about those experiences that I expected was going to happen was that you basically are in a heightened state of attention.
Yeah.
So every noise, creak, breeze, whatever, you're going to react to and be aware of. So I think there is, a possibility that you might read into things that aren't really occurring, but that's all part of it.
Not at the Pontefract house.
No.
There's videos all over YouTube. People go on YouTube, check out the Pontefract. I think it's the Black Monk of Pontefract.
Right.
And there's a great video of the cleaning lady from there.
Yeah.
And her mates have told her, you should go around and film and ask some questions. And she's like, oh, bloody hell, I don't like this. And drawers are opening and doors are slamming.
Wow.
And shit. And it looks like this little girl walks past and, ooh, there's a lot going on. And she's just hilarious because I don't like this, Sandra. No, I'm getting out, fuck home, I'm leaving this place.
So Yorkshire, it hurts.
It's amazing. Yeah, but I won't take up any more of your time. So your new album's out March the 10th.
It is.
On all platforms.
Yeah, that's when it's coming out on all
wicked.
streaming platforms.
And you'll be able to get it on vinyl. And
Yeah, carolhodge.co.uk. Get
That's the
there.
important
That
shit.
goes, you'll deal with me on the emails if you want to buy anything. So
So yeah, get that. You will enjoy it. Check out all Carol's other stuff, and when you're always gigging.
always on tour. Yeah.
Check out on the website and on all socials to find out if she's coming near you. If you at home have any ghost stories, do get in touch. Either Gigs and Ghosts Podcast on Instagram or on Facebook, or drop me an email to mrshiraz_gigs@hotmail.com because I would like to hear. This has been episode 3. Do you want to hear about some of the guests that are coming up?
Yes, I'd love to.
I'm quite stoked actually. More people seem to be getting in touch now going, oh, I've heard your podcast, I want to be on it. So next week we've got Ben from Evil,
Nice.
the thrash metal titans. Elliot from Nosebleed, you know Nosebleed?
Great, yeah.
Great band. Lee, the drummer from Gallows. Rob from Pulled Apart by Horses. Cornmo, do you know Cornmo?
I don't know.
You'd love him.
Right.
Is a New York musician who is a great pianist and he does his solo stuff. He's also in a band called Tragedy.
Right.
Who do Bee Gees covers.
Yes, I wondered if it was metal Bee Gees, yeah.
We've got Brian Clem from the good old Suburban Legends. Great ska punk band from California. Karen Roberts from Chase Long Beach. TJ from Barstool Preachers. The wonderful Steve Jones, my favourite Geordie. Alicia Vigil from Vigil of War and Dragon Force. Box Tellies, Split Lips, and more to come.
Fabulous.
I showed you the picture last time, didn't I? The photo.
I can't remember. Oh, you showed me a photo, but I can't remember what it was.
That photo.
Oh, yeah, you showed that. Yeah.
I've been trying to show everybody this. And
yeah. Don't like that at all.
It's You'll see it one day, people. But yeah, thank you all. What do you do? What do you say on these sort of things? Subscribe, leave a good review, blah blah blah.
Click a button.
Yes,
something like that. I don't know, yeah.
I've been Mikey Shiraz. This is a Gigs and Goes podcast, episode 3 with Carol Hodge. Thank you all. See you next time. Ooh.